Alright, so interesting new series we got alongside the collab with Gregola Productions, which you should watch. Yeah, we've got another series up here, and if you know the stuff, then you'll know that this is the Logan. Well, you might not. This is the Scottish version. It looks weird because that's what it is. And this is a Tide, which is also weird because it's got the dial that you normally see on a Logan, but this one was made probably in the UK. Based on the dial. This is made in USA and UK. I don't know which bits were which. Probably American movement, maybe a UK made case. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. These are the models we all know with the famous square with the weird feet. Particularly the Logan. The Tide is the mechanical version of the Logan. Or rather, the Logan is the mechanical version of the Tide. And I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, this is the Logan. The first Logans were introduced in, I think, 1945. This is from 1958, and it's a Scottish one. Same movement as the American ones, I think. But, yeah, different dial, and they never had the normal dials on Logans here, which is weird, considering they put them on the Tide, and they may as well put them on the Logan as well. But no, they went for an interesting mid-century sort of look, which still looks good actually. I think they all do, to be honest. So this is the Tide. Usually they are black, but this one's white for some reason. Yeah, this is the Tide. It's the mechanical version of the Logan, I guess you could say. However, the Logan was introduced in 1945, but the Tide, I think, was first introduced in 1935. How does that make sense? Well, that must mean the Tide came first. Well, did it? You see, these clocks, the Tide and the Logan, were not the only two clocks to have this case. Front, anyway. Yeah. This Tide is based on the Logan. However, the Logan is not the first electric clock to take up the case, and that is in fact this. This is a country club, a Westclox country club. Apparently it's from 1935 to 1939, this particular design, but they changed up and they carried on until 1945, when I assume it got replaced by the Logan. And this is an electric clock, and I think it is the direct predecessor to the Logan. It's got a round back like the early Tides had. That's why I think that Tide is based off the Logan here, because the Logan has that squared off back, and so does the Tide, whereas the ones in North America, I think, usually had the rounded back, which is more similar to this, the Country Club. So yeah, the original lineup probably would have been the Country Club and the old Tide, the black Tide. Apparently in the 40s they also introduced brown and white versions of this, I think. But yeah, this black one with the Roman dial is the first one from 1939, no, not 1935 onwards. And other ones at the time, I think there was the Ben Bolt, which is named after a song, I think, and the Siesta, and a similar situation there. I haven't got either of those. But the Siesta was the mechanical version of the Ben Bolt, as far as I know. That's what I think. Anyway, this has a completely different movement from what it looks like to any of the other ones here. As you can see from the back. Wrong clock. Oh, there we go. Yeah, completely different movement. And I've no idea what movement this has inside it. Pardon me. Anyway. I might have an idea actually, because if I get this thing I printed out earlier, yeah, this is the Country Club, and you can see it has S2F on it. It says S2F, 220 volts. The 110 was crossed out because this is probably made for this country. 50 cycles instead of 60. 1.9 watts. Current interruption stop clock. Patents pending. Made in USA. UL. Underwriters Laboratories. And it's got a little lever for turning the thing. I'm going to move this Tide out of the way, it's so loud. Oh. And the Logan. Ooh. Right, yeah. But if you look at this, from clockhistory.com, very good website, this is the Ben Bolt. And I couldn't find any pictures of one of these country clubs, or any country club at all, on there. However, the Ben Bolt is much more documented. Probably because it's more famous, I think. I mean, I've never heard of the country club until I got that one, and I've heard of the Ben Bolt before. But yeah, Ben Bolt, I can't read that because it's too small. I probably should have printed a bigger one, but it says the same message on the back. And I've got a picture of the movement here as well. That's the Ben Bolt, by the way. That one's a later model from like 1939, I think. Yeah, apparently these movements had date stamps on them. We'll find that out later. So, if you look at the back of this, you can see the arrangement of the knobs. You got the on-off lever there, hands in the middle, alarm up there, and the starting thing. Because this is a manual start motor, and that's one of the main things that made me think this might have a similar movement to the Ben Bolt. Because the Ben Bolt also has a manual starting motor instead of a self-starting one. As you can hear, me flicking that thing at the back starts the second hand a bit. Called the S2 motor, I think, which is why it says S2F on the back. This is the Ben Bolt, and up here you have the starting thing. So let's say it's this way up. You can see that the starting thing at the top is the same. The hand setting knobs are about the equal distance apart, and the on and off alarm lever on the right there is the same place. The only difference is the alarm, and as this one has the alarm dial on the front, they would have no need to put it on the back. So therefore they probably skipped out on that thing, and instead of having a knob that here that you turn, they put the knob directly on the back of that alarm dial there, which would make sense for the spacing. And that is the movement there, and you can see that that is probably what it might look like. The coil at the bottom. And a bell. However, I don't think that they could have fit a bell inside here, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of alarm it has. Maybe it's a buzzer or something? Or maybe it's one of the bells that sort of surrounds the inside. We'll have to find out in a second. I haven't opened this up before, but apparently it doesn't work. There's no plug on here, but this cord is long enough and it looks in good condition, so I might use that. But before I plug it in, to see if it works, we're going to have a look inside it and see if there's anything wrong. So yeah, it's a good looking clock, made in LaSalle, made by Western Clock Co. LaSalle, Illinois, USA, Westclox. It's got that little alarm dial there. Let's focus the camera. Yeah, got a nice little alarm dial up there. And I never thought I'd find an old Electric Westclox made in America in this country, because the power's different. However, this one looks like it's a special model for export, because it's got 50 cycles instead of 60, which they have in America usually. Unless there's something going on that I don't know about. So I'm missing a foot there. Probably the same as the Tide and the Logan. So it shouldn't be easy. It shouldn't be hard to like mould a new one out of them. But yeah, paint survived really well. So let's dig in. I think I've actually seen. Point this out first. A guy on YouTube called Mark the Clock Repair Guy service one of these things, Ben Bolt, and I watched him do the movement and stuff. And yeah, I looked about 3 or 4 times at that video just to see what was going on, because I've still got a very strong suspicion that it's got the same movement in it. However, he had some trouble getting the alarm off, the alarm dial, so we couldn't take the plates apart to like give it a deep clean. But as this one doesn't have that alarm dial, hoping that it should not be as difficult as his was, and that we can much more easily take the plates apart. This is the one without the foot in it, so that'll be interesting to see. Oh dear, what happened there? What is that? It's a piece of like wire wrapped around there to keep it in. Yeah, this definitely needs a new foot. There's dust. Look at the amount of dust coming out there. Okay, Oh my goodness, this is like it's not a dust bunny, this is a dust hyena or something. Probably the worst choice of animal I could have gone for there. Doesn't even look like it. What's fluffy and big? Mammoth? Dust mammoths? I guess that makes more sense. Especially because I've actually never said the phrase dust bunny in my life until now. Okay, looks like this is coming apart. Yeah, I'm going in completely blind here. Not that I can't see, but that I don't know. Haven't looked inside this thing. I don't know how to work on it, and everything I'm doing here is my first impression. So here's the glass, which could use a clean. Blimey, there's bits of stuff coming out everywhere. Oh, there's some smoke. It's like it's burned out or something. I hope not. This is card, isn't it? So I can't get rid of that residue. Nice metal front. It says 1A on it when my finger is waggling around. This is probably exactly the same piece that would have gone in the original Tide, and therefore the newer Tide as well, because I don't think they changed it much. This is the dial, as you can see, and I think this is a different piece there. See it moving around like the Logan is, so I can probably... Yeah, apparently the bend bolt knobs came off like that. I don't want to force these ones though. Yeah, I'll go through the front. So I'll get these hands off. Where's my cellophane? The cellophany. And he sort of did the twisty method. Oh, okay, that worked. Yeah, we got this minute hand, which is flat at the end, which is interesting. I don't want to damage this dial at all because it's made of paper. And I think these ones come off like that. I think they're loose gears inside, although this is not coming off. There it is. Oh. That's supposed to happen? Alright, we did it. Goodness gracious, that is a lot of soot. Okay, so, big old country club here. Yeah, nice alarm dial, but the inside is very dirty. This is definitely in need of any sort of service that I can give it before I even attempt to plug this in. Now this looks like I could just pull the front off, so he undid that bolt there, and I'd never have thought of undoing that because I thought it was some sort of oiling thing like it is on a Metamec, but apparently, yeah, that holds the movement in. How novel, am I right? Okay, so, oh blimey, right, we're right about the movement, but first of all, this is manic. Okay, so what do we got here? There's bits of rubber coming off everywhere. Yeah, we were right about what kind of movement this is, so that's pretty good if we check this out. Same design, which I'm surprised to be honest because I wasn't expecting that, but look at the size of that fibre gear in the middle. That is colossal, a colossal fibre gear. Yeah, this is not in good condition at all. Major insulation damage. Coil looks swollen. How does the alarm work? Oh, it must be a buzzer. Yeah, it's got that sort of buzzer thing. It must be a buzzer. Buzzard. So yeah, first impression? Golly gosh, that's all I can say. Look at the state of it. But yeah, hopefully we can give some aid to this and help bring it back to, well, some sort of working condition. Because this is an unusual model, especially for here, country club. And yeah, this is the first innards of a country club I've seen on the internet, so sure watch this video and see, oh, this is what the inside looks like. Because I know you're all daring to see. Yeah, I'm very surprised, well not surprised, but I'm really happy that I was right about what movement it had in it. Because I was going sort of on a bit, half sort of guessing, half sort of research. But it turns out that paid off. Yeah, look at this, cracked. The rest of this cord looks okay actually, so I can probably just cut this off and somehow find a way to reattach it. Oh, this is manky. Yeah, this is not pleasant at all. This requires major restoration. The movement mechanical side of things I'll definitely do on camera, but the electrical side of things, where it requires testing and soldering and everything, might not make it on camera, purely because it's not, something that I like to do on camera, because it's not something I know much about, to be honest. So I will get help for that. Look at this gear. This is the fibre gear, I assume, that yeah, look, that spins fast as well. This giant fibre gear spinning at like 100 miles an hour inside the middle of this thing. That's going to be a real feat to watch. Might be some hands as well. So yeah, I'll leave you there. I'll leave this there. Put it away and come back to it. With a new set of eyes, probably. Because I'm going to need to change them after seeing this.